What sort of applicants are top schools looking for?
I think schools, when the admissions committee looks at applications, what they want to see is that you have a diverse range of interests. So that even if you are really passionate about something, that you don't just do one activity. Like you're not all about school, you're not all about just one sport maybe. You should have a few different things that you're into. Not necessarily meaning that you should spread yourself thin and be a jack of all trades and master of none. But you should be a master of a few, maybe, or at least be heavily involved in at least 2 or 3 different things. So for example, I mean, this is as part of my first year in college, but what I do now is I'm really, I work in a research lab and I do engineering entrepreneurship stuff, which kind of goes hand in hand, but then I'm also part of the culinary society. So that's kind of clearly removed from those 2 things. And so those are like, it's kind of a different area, but you have a few different interests.
For me, I'm a scientist. I'm science all my whole life. So I've been in many science academies outside school, and I'm currently a PhD program for science. But also, I also wrote poetry. I also wrote poetry. I also produced plays. So I had this whole left brain thing going. And I noticed that I also interviewed for Princeton, and I noticed that the students that do the best are the students that have can complement both. That have a little bit of this, have a little bit of that. So I agree with them. Don't do everything, but just be diversely interesting person to multiple people. And I noticed that with my colleagues at Princeton, I could sit there and have a talk with somebody who's English, but they would tell me a few things about DNA and things like that, and I'm like, wow, okay, I didn't know you had some small knowledge of those kind of things. So it kind of they were always interesting.
Yeah, that's where being well read comes in handy. Know a little bit of everything, I guess. But in terms of the extracurriculars, I guess you want to pick the ones that really resonate with you. For me, it was the first I mentioned before, it was track and field. That was something that I really felt strongly about, so I did that for 4 years. And I was part of the cultural club, environmental club, Circle of the Arts. The arts were all very important to me, so it was cultural diversity, environmental wellness, and research. I was also really interested in the biological sciences, so I did, I entered in a research laboratory for a while. So all that, plays into something that I felt strongly about. Even though they were sort of diverse areas, they were all areas that really said something about me.
So I think it's something important to remember. When an admissions committee is kind of putting together a student body, that's exactly what they're doing. Is they're putting together an entire class. And so you have to think about, they're looking for a diverse array of people to complement each other when they bring them into a college. The idea is that when you get everyone together, how will each individual contribute to what you want to achieve in that student body? And so being well-read or being well-rounded is extremely helpful because it helps you fit into a lot of places. I think personally it's nice to know, given the impression of where exactly you're going to contribute to the university. So in my case, I came really from, my love of music, and then scientifically, I was really interested in science when I graduated high school, and I knew that was what I was going to do, and they could tell that that was how I was going to contribute to the university, was in a laboratory setting, which I've continued now. But I think it's really important to, like Sifir said, you don't want to be so focused on one thing that you aren't, able to talk about everything that everyone around you is going to be interested in. Be interested.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Well, the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so with that said, that's it for this segment of the IB Team Roundtable. And remember, when it comes to getting into the top colleges, it takes a team. The IB Team. Find out more at www.theibteam.com.